Hi, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Yasmin Cusmaan Muuse and I'm 25 years old. I was born in Washington, D.C., but from there I did my education, my university degree in Paris at Sciences Po Paris, and then I did my master's at the London School of Economics. While I was there in both schools, I specialized in political economics, especially in conflict zones, and most particularly in the Horn of Africa region, Somalia. I focused a lot on renewable energy and the eradication of poverty, and throughout my childhood I also traveled all around sub-Saharan Africa, and that was where I piqued an interest in the needs of the people, and especially in economic development. In 2016, I founded Samawad Energy in Morocco on the sidelines of COP22, the UN Environment Conference, and we presented it there, and we began operating within Morocco. So Samawad Energy is a company that provides affordable off-grid, pay-as-you-go solar home solutions to residents and small businesses in Africa. So we began in Morocco, and then in 2018 we switched and we moved into Somalia with my partner Yasmin Cusmaan. So we began operations in Mogadishu, and our kits, they're very affordable compared to the price that people are paying right now. People are paying up to 89 cents per kilowatt hour, US dollars, and that's the highest in the world. In Manhattan, they pay 13 cents per kilowatt hour. So with Samawad Energy, what people do is they pay a down payment. For our smallest kits, that's $15, and then every day for 1 year, installments of 35 US cents. So we try and make it as affordable as possible, so after that 1 year, they own the kits for life, and it's unbeatable right now in Somalia. We started in Morocco, now we're in Somalia, and I focused on Somalia because not only is it my country of origin, but because Somalia has one of the highest rates of non-electrification in the entire world. 85% of the population does not have access to electricity. Only 15% do, and that's really centralized in the cities. People are forgetting about the outside of the cities. So because Somalia is seen as a war-torn, conflict-stricken country, investors mainly stay away from creating new businesses here. That's why it's really important for Somali people themselves to come up with these new solutions to leapfrog different areas. That's why Samawat is trying to leapfrog the grid, because to note, since 1991 we haven't had a national grid, and private sector companies emerged and they started charging the highest prices imaginable from their diesel-powered generators. And while that helped for the last nearly 30 years, the people can't afford that. So only the rich are benefiting, and people are forgetting about the impoverished. So in Morocco, when I first set up the company, it was well received because Morocco is a leading pioneer of electrification. In 1995 to now, they've definitely increased electrification by over 75%, which is unheard of, especially in Africa. So that was a great place to start because the government really had programs set in place to help startups and entrepreneurs, and they actually have an agency for solar energy, Masen, that supports people with new ideas. But in Somalia, when I started the company, I started attending many meetings for electrification, from the AFDB to World Bank to UN to whatnot, and understanding and teaching myself. But at these meetings, you meet elderly Somali men. I say women are, let's say, less than 3%, and the youth are definitely under 1% present at these meetings. So I really think that we really need to make these meetings and these programs accessible to all and more inclusive. And it's the responsibility of not just my generation, but the generation above me and their forefathers as well, while we're on this planet, because that's the only way that Somalia will advance, is if everyone's included in the conversation. So we have an office in Mogadishu. Now in Garowe, we're opening our new office. I'm really excited about it, inshallah. It'll be opened by February. And from there, we'll just be opening offices throughout Puntland and going around Somalia, depending on our success. In terms of our future, I would love to grow in Somalia, but the problem is, as a young woman entrepreneur, it's very difficult to be taken seriously in this country. But not only in this country, even in westernized countries like the US, the UK, all across the world. But I think that the government really needs to be inclusive, and they need to create opportunities for people to launch their startups and their ideas, because I'm not the only one that has an idea and has faced hurdles. There are people without the income or the opportunities that I've had that still face these opportunities, but women are at the forefront of this. So I definitely want to continue growing. Our first office that we launched was in Mogadishu. Now we're in Puntland in Garowe, and from there I just want to keep adding on and giving to the people. Yesterday we provided 40 kits for free to IDPs at Jole camp in Garowe, and that was honestly one of the most moving moments of my life, because I got to interact with the people on the ground, and we gave them 40 kits for free, and these kits include a 10-watt solar panel, 3 lights, as well as a radio, a flashlight, and mobile charging. So by seeing people so appreciative of something like that, I would love to work with NGOs and governments to provide these for free to the people all across Somalia, because the need is there, and my company is there to fill that void. We just have to meet in the middle. So the challenges, I think, it's not just in Somalia but across the world. Alhamdulillah, I got a grant from the European Commission, and that helped us start with our seed funding, and that was great. And then from there I was interviewed by Kofi Annan's Africa Progress panel before he passed away. But the thing is, I've been getting all these achievements and being sponsored by people like Total Petroleum to go to Paris, and these are all achievements that when you look at my profile, it looks like everything comes easy, but along the way, every time I make a step forward, I feel like there's 10 steps back, because you have to combat this by proving your intelligence and your worth in the community. That's one thing. You need access to government and to resources, because the funding is out there, but it's just hard to connect the dots and pull us together. And not only that, in the market right now, we have kits from China that are being sold for $5 in Bukhara market in Mogadishu, for example. When you go to customers and your end users, they're wondering why they should buy your kit, which is more expensive, even though you try and facilitate the payments through pay-as-you-go and their EVC, when they could buy the $5 kit. And even if it breaks, they'll pay $5 and get a new one. So it's just about educating the people. And I think it's the responsibility of not just private sector, but the public sector. The government needs to really push for renewable energy, because the only way that Somalia will progress, or any country in general will progress, is if its country is electrified, because you can't do anything without electricity. My message to the new government, especially the newly elected president, Saeed Abdullah Deni, is that, first of all, Puntland doesn't have a Ministry of Energy. They have an organization that deals with energy in Puntland, but I think it's really essential that he establishes a Minister for Energy, because it's one of the most critical areas of development in the world, honestly, in the developing world right now. And I think that he really should put renewable energy at the forefront of his plan for the his term that's coming up right now, because we're seeing that we have to create new solutions. The grid is completely abolished, and it's going to take too long to add on to the grid to reach every single person. So we have to think of new ideas to leapfrog this grid, like our company Samawad Energy.